It's a sacred place, isn't it?
Don't record.
We've arrived already.
Look, how impressive.
The entire group of tourists will leave the flowers.
Pato, right?
Is it pork?
Pork?
Pork.
Squid?
Squid, lamb,
Lamb?
and veal.
Let's read the newspaper.
What does it say there?
Long live the revolutionary ideology of the great comrade Kim Jong-un.
Over the years, while recording videos, I've had the chance to visit many former Soviet republics.
Many of you think that communism and socialism are still alive there.
However, today begins a journey to a country that truly resembles those harsh times of communism.
Today we're traveling to North Korea. Let's go.
I'm panting in the intro because I nearly missed my train to the airport.
It could also be due to the excitement before visiting a unique place with an enigmatic society that challenges our imagination.
North Korea has been ruled for more than 7 decades by the Kim dynasty.
And the major international media outlets have even described it as the most closed, the most secretive, or even the most dangerous country in the world.
Due to its strong military focus in recent decades, it has successfully developed intercontinental ballistic missiles and thermonuclear weapons, citing deterrence as justification.
With the end of World War II and the Japanese occupation in August 1945, Korea experienced a political and territorial division.
Fueled by Cold War tensions between the Soviet bloc backing the North and American capitalism supporting the South, the division was solidified in 1953 with the Korean War's end. We'll discuss this in more detail later in the series.
North Korea is governed by the Juche ideology, developed by Kim Il-sung and inspired by communism.
The strict control present in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, as it is officially called, stands out, among other things, for restrictions such as the limitation of its citizens' freedom of movement, both inside and outside the country.
Only possible after obtaining a special permit.
Restrictions on religious worship, no non-state media, limited external internet access, and regulated clothing and hairstyles. Having material or propaganda seen as hostile to the country and its values can result in forced labor camps or even the death penalty.
This is also prosecuted, divided, and punished in South Korea with the so-called National Security Law, which punishes the possession or dissemination of any communist ideas or references to North Korea. This gives us an idea of how ideologically divided and polarized the Korean people are.
Despite several unification treaties, relations with their southern neighbor have only worsened.
In February 2019, a group of 10 armed men violently broke into the North Korean embassy in Madrid,
Which was in the building behind me.
They detained the diplomatic staff for 4 hours and reportedly stole sensitive information later given to the FBI.
North Korea called it a serious terrorist attack and blamed the CIA for the sophisticated assault,
Which included cutting off the embassy's communications with the outside and fleeing the country without being detected.
Earlier this year, Kim Jong-un labeled South Korea hostile for joint military drills with the United States and drone espionage,
which definitively blew up the progress made in rapprochement over the past decade.
A few weeks ago, the inter-Korean border roads were blown up.
and this added to hostile actions like the sending of propaganda balloons launched from South Korea to their neighbors in the north.
Paints a bleak picture for short to medium-term reconciliation.
On the other hand, relations with Russia have improved exponentially, especially since 2022 when military and commercial ties began to intensify and have now become strategic.
Since January 2020 and the pandemic's start, North Korea strictly closed its borders, banning entry and exit.
The country isolated itself further from the world until 2024 when it finally reopened to tourists.
While others shared case numbers, Korea stayed inaccessible. In August 2022, it officially declared it had defeated COVID-19, which it called cases of fever.
The conditions for visiting as a tourist are very strict, and it must be done through an authorized agency as part of a tour package.
Packages include ski trips in the mountains, beach resorts on the coast, and visits to the capital and historic cities.
Before I bought the tour, the agency warned me about restrictions, like tourists having to stay with guides and the group at all times.
And they can't deviate from the established travel plan or walk around on their own, which is strictly prohibited.
I rarely travel or film this way, so this video series is some of the first tourist footage from inside in a long time.
I hope you find it as interesting as I did, and that we get to learn a bit more about this country and its people. Well, that's it. I'm already at Vladivostok Airport, waiting to board and catch the plane to North Korea.
I've already gone through security, checked in, dropped off my suitcase, and they've given me the visa. A visa with the North Korean coat of arms.
It's very simple. It doesn't even have my name, just the passport number and some other details.
And soon we're going to board the plane to North Korea, to Pyongyang.
Generally, all the tours before the pandemic were by train from China, so this is a unique opportunity to show you another way to travel to Pyongyang.
The first thing that surprised me upon arriving at Vladivostok Airport was seeing so many North Koreans waiting after arriving from Pyongyang.
All of them had their leader. Some with Kim Jong-un, some with Kim Jong-il, others with both of them together, but everyone had a pin. Absolutely everyone. And there were several groups of Koreans, about 100 or 200 people, who are possibly here for business relations, for work, for some course, or some competition. As many of you may know, the friendship between Russia and North Korea has grown stronger in recent years, and this is an example of that. I found it very interesting, as I said, because they're walking around calmly waiting for their bus. But they can buy gum, food, whatever they want. They can go through the shops. I imagine what goes through their minds, whether they're already used to this, or if they're surprised, if they'll get home later and tell everything they've seen. Most of the planes that this company, Air Koryo, the North Korean airline we're going to fly with, has are Soviet-made or from the Soviet era.
I'm not sure how much I'll record, but it will definitely be a unique experience.
All right, we're about to board now.
They've called Air Koryo passengers to Pyongyang.
They first told us not to record inside the plane.
Which I didn't understand, since Air Koryo plane images are everywhere online. Though I was eager to record such aviation beauty, I chose not to start my trip to Korea on the wrong foot.
That's why I secretly recorded what I could without attracting attention.
Tourists inside the plane began recording indiscriminately, and flight attendants worked hard to call out anyone they caught. And they even checked people's phones to delete what they had recorded.
Hello.
Seat 16A.
By the window, please look at the numbers.
It's okay, thank you.
Let me see your passport, please.
16.
The last seat.
Thank you.
We're going to take the Tupolev to 154 after all. The plane is a relic. You board through the middle door, and 3 flight attendants quickly escort and guide you to your seat, speaking Russian. You can tell from outside the plane it needs new paint. I'm not sure if it's from 2000 or the early 2000s when Air Koryo bought it. And then, as you can hear, there's some music in Korean. Look, this is how the seat looks with your little table here. Let's see.
To hang your jacket here.
Attention, attention, ladies and gentlemen. Our staff warmly welcomes you to Flight JS-372 of Air Koryo. The flight distance is 880 kilometers with an average speed of 850 kilometers per hour. For the safety of the flight, passengers are prohibited from smoking and using objects. If anyone needs assistance during the flight, please press the button above your head. We wish you a fun flight.
Heading to the runway bound for Pyongyang. Here we go. It's so loud.
See how the Tupolev is warming up its engines? The plane must be at least 30 or 40 years old.
It really pulls back.
Nice acceleration. The seats have fallen, some seats have reclined back in the plane. Come on, little one. We're taking off now. A pretty horizontal takeoff. Not as vertical as today's commercial airplanes.
Well, and there you have an Antonov, if I'm not mistaken, Russian.
Stunning views of Vladivostok's outskirts. gave us this a little hamburger. It looks like a sandwich. Let's see what it is. It's a totally Western-style hamburger. Here you go.
Very good. It's just like a hamburger you could have in any other country.
With its bun, cheese, tomato, and red onion.
And now it's time for a North Korean strawberry soda, a soft drink. It tastes like Flash, that ice cream.
The polo we have in Spain, it's the same thing.
Let's read the newspaper.
Usually they talk about construction projects on the first pages, but then you also have pages like this one.
About the waterfalls. You can even learn about the Premier League. Here it says, the Premier League with unpredictable results. It's Korean basketball.
You have, of course, news about the relations between Russia and Korea, a historic milestone in the development of friendship relations.
But you also have here a small section that talks about global pollution, and it mentions that the United Nations Children's Fund has conducted a study.
Blah, blah, blah. Brief columns on world events.
Chile and Russia, Iran, Germany.
These onboard newspapers are travelers' first contact with this intriguing country.
Flight attendants distribute them, and the news is varied but always highlights the country's positives and negatives from elsewhere.
They discuss topics ranging from Russian Ministry of Defense meetings to new bus launches in a Pyongyang neighborhood.
To announcements about new propaganda posters appearing on city and town streets.
They're printed in English for tourists, and mostly from a few months ago.
The flight attendants asked us to treat them well. We could keep them, but the portrait of the leader could never be folded.
They also gave us a migration form to fill out with our personal information and trip details.
A form with questions about contagious diseases and COVID, and another form that caught my attention the most.
We had to list all our electronic items, including memory cards, cameras, batteries, phones, computers, and tablets.
All items had to be registered for later inspection at the airport.
We've landed already. The flight was very pleasant. It lasted just a little over an hour. And as soon as you arrive at the airport, you can see the rest of the fleet, the rest of the Air Koryo planes. Authentic legends of Soviet aviation.
After landing at the airport, we went through multiple checkpoints.
X-ray baggage check, temperature check, passport control, and another X-ray, where the military verified our declared electronics and phone count.
They also asked us if we had any religious books or reading material, since it is completely forbidden to bring them in.
I forgot to list my camera memory cards, but the soldiers saw them in the X-ray and added them to the list.
Immediately after, they split the 100 tourists into groups of 20 and kept our passports. Then they took us to small airport restaurants on the second floor, where the waitresses had our food ready. We're still at the airport. They just sat the whole group down here.
They even brought beer.
A mandarin duck, really delicious. I think that's potatoes, and here's a salad. A bit of toasted bread. A delicious Korean potato omelet. And for the main course, a little fish. Looks like some kind of salmon or trout with a bit of lemon.
During the meal, the television showed different buildings, like the Taekwondo Palace, the Korean martial art, a tourist resort with a golf course included, or a new neighborhood in Pyongyang.
While they showed images with text explaining their features, like the construction date, capacity, and area.
Once we finished eating, we gathered our things and set off towards the capital, Pyongyang.
The airport isn't very big, but it looks brand new and it's also very clean.
Look at those little souvenir shops over there. And here you have planet Earth, with North Korea in red and a plane taking off, with images of Korea everywhere of imposing buildings. And these are the souvenirs that are here at the little stand, for example, from Putin's visit in 2023. And here you have a collection of army stamps. And the last page you see, look, how curious.
Destroying the American enemy.
How much does it cost?
$10.
How much does one of these little books cost?
How much are they?
Yes. These are $1.
Yes, for $1. Look, more stamps over here. With our group of 20 tourists ready, we were prepared to get on the bus and start the tour of the capital.
On the trip, we would always have two guides, one from the state tourism agency and one from the government.
Our bus driver and a cameraman who would later edit the video.
Summary of the trip, which I've already shown some images of and is worth seeing.
Well, that's it. After lunch, we get on the bus and start the day.
And then we slide onto the Yangtze bus.
You're allowed to record along the way, but there are some rules you have to follow.
Recording military personnel and military posts is strictly prohibited.
You will always be accompanied by two guides.
Look at the little houses over there, full of grass.
The rooftops, wow, with corn. The garden is right on the building.
Don't film the military posts.
Yeah, I didn't film it.
All right.
See the train tracks? They use diesel locomotives here.
There are a lot of bicycles, right?
Yes, a lot of cyclists.
You can see a lot of cyclists on the bike lane.
There's another one.
There are bike lanes all over the country. Do you see we're on the road, in the center now, and that on the side is the bike lane?
Even with electric bikes. Do the fishermen who are there eat what they catch, or do they sell it at the market?
Yes, they eat what they catch.
To eat.
Look, this is a new street.
The new street?
It's called Chongmi.
Chongmi?
Chongmi?
Chongmi.
Chongmi means youth, the street of youth.
Of youth.
It means youth or youth street.
Look at the new houses.
They opened it this year.
They opened it this year.
What amazing apartments.
The street is called Chongmi, youth, because it was built by our young people.
Look, over there playing rugby or badminton.
The young people.
You see a lot of people on the streets. As soon as we left the airport, we also passed through a city or a populated area.
A lot of people on the street.
Also many fishermen on the riverbank.
And similar proclamations. The guide says those in the countryside are proclamations like, we need to produce more rice. And the ones in the city, I don't know. Look, so many people playing the game The Elderly. A lot of posters.
And that's why we've already built 30,000 rooms.
What does it say on that poster?
What?
What does it say on that poster?
Long live the revolutionary ideology of the great comrade Kim Jong-un.
You can see little clothing shops, hair salons. This is a new neighborhood that was built last year.
Look at that.
Most people are wearing a pin, just like the ones at the airport, and it depends on how old you are.
They're either one size or another. The younger ones have a small circular one, and as you get older, they give you a bigger one.
And those are items that aren't for sale. They're not sold to tourists. You see?
That's their motorcycle. The kids are playing. One of the first things that struck me was the pins or badges most North Koreans wore. From pilots to fishermen by the river.
Domestically, they demonstrate loyalty to the regime and highlight prestige and hierarchy.
Which depends on the bearer's age, commitment to the country, and party or state position.
Generally, the simpler ones are circular or oval and show Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-il, and as the rank increases, they show them together on a red background, as if it were a flag.
Also, the materials, quality, and finishes.
Give an idea of whether the wearer belongs to the lower, middle, or elite ranks of the Workers' Party.
As well as some special edition badges.
They have changed over the years and are always created by the renowned Mansudae Art Studio, known for its distinctive style,
which can be seen all over the country and have even been exported abroad, like the African Renaissance Monument in Senegal.
Something else I noticed from the bus window was that people always wore the same clothing patterns, pants, and shirt.
For men, usually in white, brown, blue, gray, or black tones, and for women, dresses, skirts, and shirts, although with a bit more variety in color.
The same with the haircuts, all very similar, almost identical.
As we were entering the capital, there were more and more cars and buildings.
There weren't many vehicles, but the ones I managed to see were mostly Chinese brands and some Japanese ones. There were trams, buses, and trolley buses until we reached our first stop of the day.
Not before glimpsing the impressive 150-meter state television tower built in 1967 in the style of the Moscow Television Tower.
The few allowed channels here are broadcast, like Korean Central Television or Central Channel, which air news, documentaries, movies, and educational content. Although there are 2 or 3 other channels that offer cultural and educational content aimed at teachers and educators, or scientific content aimed at students.
Televisions sold in North Korea are registered, configured for state channels, and sometimes sealed to prevent tampering.
Focused on reinforcing the country's ideology,
the programming usually starts at 3 in the afternoon and ends at 11 at night, although there are exceptions.
At the avenue's end was a huge square with the world's largest and most imposing triumphal arch at its center.
Dedicated to the Korean resistance against Japanese occupation from 1925 to 1945, built to commemorate the 70th anniversary of Kim Il-sung, the dynasty's first leader and a resistance participant.
She gave her first speech before the prince and directly expressed the strength and desire of someone who has knowledge and someone who does not.
Look where we just parked.
Colossal, the Arc de Triomphe.
Now we're going to go up, then we'll come down and leave.
Wow. Take a look at the huge hall inside the Arc de Triomphe. We came up by elevator.
Impressive. With the souvenir shop, tourist attraction.
Check out these great armchairs and sofas.
Here, to my left, there are some images of Kim Jong-un that we've been told we can't record.
Landscapes can be recorded. There are 4 images, one in the snow, another clapping. As you can see,
an exquisite decoration with marble, wooden doors, brand new and spotless, and very high ceilings.
Now they're going to show us a movie on television that will tell the story of the Arc de Triomphe.
Kim Il-sung participated in the war against Japan and played a fundamental role in the liberation of Korea.
One of the conditions for taking photos with the leaders and with the statues of the leaders is that you don't crop them. That's what we've been told. The guide has emphasized that you can't crop it, nor can you put it to one side.
It has to be centered, and you always have to stand straight. Let's say you can't fool around.
Wow. We're going to go out here to get a view of the city from the top of the Arc de Triomphe.
When they took my picture, which I'll share, the guide came out to check if the guy was doing it right.
Here you have the views. The soccer stadium, the television tower, the mural, and there you have Pyongyang in the background, the skyscrapers of Pyongyang.
One of the things that surprised me the most was the number of people on the streets. So many. Maybe they're just getting out of work or school.
Oops, what a great goal.
They're playing and there's an audience. You can hear it, so it's not empty. Look at the pioneers with their red ribbons, the kids.
A lot of motorcycles, a lot of bikes, and some little stands there. Looks like for souvenirs or maybe street food. And I don't know if that's because they're building an amusement park, but it really looks like it, or maybe it's already built, like some kind of amusement park.
I still haven't processed that I'm here. I still can't believe it. In Pyongyang, in North Korea. This is amazing.
From here you can see the subway station, big avenues, the soccer field, and what appears to be a theater or movie theater.
A bunch of food stalls, some old men playing who knows what card game, maybe dominoes.
As I mentioned, many pedestrians are walking down the street.
There are no traffic jams here since there aren't many cars. In any other city, this would be packed with cars stuck in traffic.
Here you can see there aren't many, but enough for there to be a constant flow of traffic.
You can also see a factory or two in the distance letting out smoke, as you can see there.
North Korean flags are on another monument.
And the most famous skyscraper, maybe the one shaped like a triangle, which they finished relatively recently.
What are your first thoughts on Pyongyang? Did you expect it to look like this? I didn't.
Many residential buildings and lots of hustle and bustle in the center.
I was always told it was empty, ghostly, or at least that's the impression I had. But not at all. Look.
People are coming out of the soccer field over there.
So yeah, there was an event. It's so strange, I don't understand how it's organized. I mean, there's a soccer field there with a match going on.
They quietly return home. Later, kids arrive from school.
Workers. What kind of schedule do they have so that there's a soccer match in the middle of the workday?
Of course, I get the feeling that their schedules aren't much like the ones we have back home.
How much do these cost?
This is $100.
$100.
Yes, there are small ones.
Are there smaller ones? What do they cost? The small ones, how much do they cost?
These cost $70.
70?
Yes.
All right.
They're handmade, right?
Yes, sewn.
Beautiful. Yes, so lovely.
This is a papyrus, the other is a cloth.
Before, there was only a serious expression on the face, and now the Supreme People's Assembly works. Every 5 years, 700 deputies are elected. Italians and Japanese, but actually they are different. In our country, the deputies are very similar. What do you think it is?
The Los Diputados Choco building was built in 1982.
Choco building.
Look at this little flower shop. We just stopped again. Now we need to buy flowers as a sign of respect.
And take a look at the Palace of Culture. It's spectacular. I had never seen it in any photo before. I didn't know it existed.
It's a huge palace dedicated to culture, where, according to the guide, different subjects are taught.
Actually, it's a library. The thing is, it's also used well for attending classes.
Look at this fountain they have here with colors, right in front of the Palace of Culture.
And there, at the back of the building, the skyscraper, the tallest in all of Pyongyang, with the flag waving.
A massive screen covers the building's glass front. They let us walk around the square to see the fountain.
You can see the locals also resting here at the fountain in front of the Palace of Culture. And here, another sculpture presiding over these spotless white fountains. A bunch of women. These are the bouquets of flowers.
I don't have rubles. Do you have any left?
There are no rubles left.
We have our bouquet, and now it's time to leave it at the statue. As you can see, the shop is set up here for tourists and also for locals who buy flowers. But these are the typical ones they give you. They're $5 for tourists.
We've reached the next stop. We'll leave the flowers at the bronze statue.
They dropped us off. We need to walk about 100 meters to the place.
Come on, let's go.
It's considered a sacred place for North Korean culture, and a lot of people come here to do a kind of pilgrimage. It's a sacred place, right?
Don't record.
We've arrived. Look, it's impressive. All of us tourists are going to leave flowers as a symbol of respect.
Wow. There are two types of guards there, but they're just dressed simply, with shirts, just standing on the sides.
We step back and all bow together.
Well, this is one of the most important monuments here in North Korea.
To the right is the Socialist Revolution and socialism's success. Over there is the revolution against the Japanese. After laying the flowers, we had to bow, while those without flowers stayed further back and couldn't come closer.
Look, and there you can see some locals approaching to lay flowers. The pedestal is full of flowers.
The Grand Monument on Mansu Hill in central Pyongyang is an iconic symbol of North Korean devotion to their leaders.
The complex features two 22-meter-tall bronze statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, portraying them as paternal and heroic.
Inaugurated in 1972, it first featured only Kim Il-sung, founder of the People's Republic. In 2011, after Kim Jong-il's death, his statue was added.
A massive mural of Mount Paktu, sacred in North Korean culture, complements the composition.
More than a monument, it powerfully expresses the country's historical and ideological narrative.
The sculpture of the struggle against the Japanese symbolizes revolutionary resistance against colonial occupation.
Soldiers and peasants with rifles and tools stand under a waving flag, symbolizing Korean unity and sacrifice.
Under the leadership of Kim Il-sung, the sculpture of the triumph of socialism celebrates the building of a new Korea after independence.
Workers, peasants, and soldiers are depicted with triumphant gestures, carrying symbols of progress such as books and tools, in a composition that reflects optimism and ideological advancement.
Take a look. From the monument, you can see the whole city, the buildings lit up. Night has already fallen. There's quite a bit of light.
And the monument that's right here, which is a horse carrying a worker and a peasant woman.
It symbolizes the effort made by the whole country, and specifically a metallurgical company, to rebuild the country after the war when everything was destroyed.
The president asked them to produce a certain amount of metal, and the workers responded by delivering twice what was requested.
Since then, a movement for work effort began throughout Korea, similar to the Stakhanov movement in the Soviet Union.
It reminds me a lot of the worker and kolkhoz woman statue in Moscow, only in a Korean version.
With a horse! And now at night it looks like the horse is flying, our guide tells us.
You can see how carefully and lovingly they treat the monument.
3 or 4 workers constantly sweeping the floor.
Among the things they've asked us as a sign of respect to visit this monument is the photos we take.
Keep your arms at your sides, no unusual symbols or greetings.
And then the photos have to be taken centered, and you can't cut off any part of the statue.
They brought us to a restaurant instead of having dinner at the hotel, which surprised me.
Today we're having Korean barbecue.
Look, they're bringing us a little dog. I think this is the national breed. I saw it earlier on the restaurant's television.
It's the Pongsan breed.
Ah!
Pongsan.
Pongsan.
Yes.
Korea, right?
Yes, Pongsan from Korea.
Pongsan from Korea.
Yes, yes.
It already smells like barbecue. It already smells like charcoal. Look, they're serving the beer. The restaurant is beautiful, with Russian music and different little rooms around here.
although most of us here are from our group of tourists.
Sit down in groups of 6 people.
Uh-huh. Wow, take a look at this. Thanks, wow. Look, beef, squid, pork bacon, I think that's duck.
Duck, right?
Duck.
Pig?
Pig.
Squid?
Squid, lamb.
Lamb?
And veal.
And veal.
And look at all the sauces you have here.
This was a surprise. I thought they were going to give us typical hotel food. Look, they're bringing the charcoal. Thank you very much.
We can grill everything they've brought us here.
What sauces are these?
Soybean paste, mustard, ground garlic, soy sauce.
And this?
These are spices.
Spices. All right, thank you.
Wish them bon appetit from me.
Bon appétit.
Bon appétit.
Yes.
It's just us in the restaurant.
Come on, the group and the Korean guides have reserved the whole place for the tourists.
Here are the bathrooms, a latrine as it couldn't be any other way here in Asia.
Chai Korean tea. Cheers.
As you can see, they've given us these aprons so we don't get dirty, and they've brought us beer. They serve it with foam here. The first beer is free, and from the second one on, it's $1.
Let's try the beef. Delicious. Big cucumber with soybean paste. The squid. Enjoy your meal. Look how the waitress is serving each of us in turn.
And they leave it on the small plate.
Wow.
If you come here single, be careful not to fall for the flight attendants or waitresses.
Here you go, the duck.
Cheers.
And this here is kimchi, a typical Korean dish. Let's try a bit of traditional Korean food. It's like a sweet and sour salad.
Very tasty.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We already left the restaurant. For the last course, they served us some black buckwheat noodles, also with chicken and pork. They were very tasty, but hard to chew.
And really, really spicy. And now, a nighttime walk through the streets of Pyongyang awaits us.
Look, they're going to give us a short walk of 10 or 15 minutes down a new street that was built in 2016.
That apartment building is the tallest on this street. It's 53 stories according to the guide.
But look at the rest. With the symbol of atomic energy. How curious. You can already see that people are starting to go to sleep.
It's almost 10 at night, and the little lights in the apartments are starting to turn on. There aren't as many people as before.
The stores are closing too, and the guide told me that tomorrow they open at 9.
Come on, let's go.
This is what this street looks like at night in Pyongyang with the moon up there. A full moon. Oh, what taxi, huh?
And some young people walking by.
Did you see it too?
The star. A shooting star just passed by over there. While I was saying that there are some young people who will be coming home now.
with the little baby there in their arms, and many buildings with bright red signs.
Would you like to see a Korean stop sign?
There you go. Only Korean letters. No English. Oh, I'm losing the group. We have to stay together at all times.
Of course, you probably already know that from other people's videos.
This street is very well lit.
Streetlights, how curious, huh?
Streetlights with small lanterns below, regular lights above, and trolley bus lines like the one in the background. The guide told me that people come here especially to walk around, to spend time when they have free time. Because it's a very beautiful street, and indeed it's decorated with little flowers. All the buildings are new, lots of signs, lots of lights. The bus stops have landscapes, drawings, and it's full of residential buildings.
Out of the total of about 22 million people who live here, it's estimated that around 4 million live in the capital, in Pyongyang.
Oh, there's a bike passing by honking. Okay. And that man I've been laughing with is the cameraman. We have a cameraman in the group who later sells us the video. He's going to make a video. I don't know if it'll end up on the Korean news later.
Here's another sign. I can't read it, but it's likely a government or system-related proclamation.
There's a supermarket on my right. They all look similar, with glass windows so you can see inside. Inside, there are fridges and shelves with various foods.
And during the walk earlier, they were full. All kinds of businesses also selling musical instruments. I've seen basketballs, small shops with different products. Look, it's just turned 10 at night and they've turned off half the street lights. It's something common here. Turning off the lights, switching off the lights at 10 at night.
These tours are known for perfectly timed street walks, which capture the essence of tourism here.
They're going to show you what they want you to see.
One guide leads and another follows at the back, ensuring no one is left behind.
And even if someone wanted to investigate on their own and break away,
they wouldn't last 5 minutes before someone politely asked if they're lost and called the authorities.
Although I got the feeling that they had turned off the streetlights to save electricity.
When I asked the guide off camera, he told me that maybe it was because the wiring was bad.
Anyway, later I noticed that this practice of turning off the lights is common, and they only left them on at night at certain monuments.
That's it. The walk was about 300 or 400 meters before returning to the bus. Take a look at the hotel.
47 floors. It's the only hotel in Pyongyang where tourists can stay. Do you see the glass elevators outside?
There goes one up. That's the Yanggakdo International Hotel.
Look at those revolving doors, huh?
With vases full of flowers. There we have the bellboy who just took all our temperatures. And this is the lobby, the hall.
there you have some souvenir shops, a bar, and a small waiting room here with little armchairs to sit in.
The group guides are sitting by the little armchairs with our passports, which they took at the airport. I hadn't mentioned that, and I don't know when we'll get them back.
I guess when we go back home. This is what the reception looks like. And there you have the internet service. You have 1 megabyte. I'll explain it later. Look at this newspaper. It's in Korean. It's from this year.
From this day, actually.
September 16th, 2024, year 113. The leader's cult was so intense that in 1997, 3 years after Kim Il-sung's death, a new calendar was introduced. A calendar blending Korean and Gregorian systems, starting from his birth, making 1912 year 1 of the Yuch era.
The Janggakdo Hotel, located in the middle of Janggak Island on the Taedong River, was built between 1986 and 1992, although several renovations were made in 96.
In Korea, instead of the usual star rating system, hotels are rated as special, first, or second.
The Janggakdo is in the special category and was designed to attract international tourism from organized tours.
Amenities include a bowling alley, swimming pool, baths and sauna, billiards, casino, and several restaurants, including a revolving one on the top floor.
The hotel is also surrounded by an aura of mystery, like the famous 5th floor, which is believed to be reserved for North Korean government activities.
It was also in this hotel where, allegedly, the American student Otto Warmbier took a propaganda poster,
an act for which he was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor.
He died after being released from a year-long coma in captivity, except for the 5th floor and a few others.
Tourists could move freely inside the hotel, but leaving the parking lot was strictly forbidden and monitored.
In another video on the secondary channel, I cover this hotel's facilities and history in more detail. Lastly, although it may seem odd, tourists could access the external internet at the hotel for a fee. The most basic system charged about $3 to send up to 100 megabytes of email. The other system we all use connected to the hotel's network for $1.70 every 10 minutes, managed by a hotel employee at reception. And even though it seems unbelievable, you could connect to all the social networks you wanted, and it worked perfectly. That is, there was no kind of censorship for tourists, nor was it necessary to use a VPN, although they probably monitor what you do and what you don't do.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you the hotel rooms on the 38th floor. Here is the entrance.
Here's the bathroom. I'll show you.
The first thing that catches your attention is the masks in case of fire.
A safe, a clothes brush, the duvets for the shoes, a laundry bag, a shoehorn, another brush, the slippers, and here a trash can, a kettle, and the cups.
A clock with the weather and humidity and the current temperature.
And here the room opens up. There are 2 beds. Here you have, I think this is the air conditioner, if I'm not mistaken. The lights are the ones you see. There aren't any up there. Instead, there are several lamps, a small mirror, and this wooden desk with a chair to work at. Here you have the book. I don't know what they'll put here. Information about laundry, laundromat. One thing that caught my attention besides the television is this other device here, which I think is an alarm clock. But if you look closely, it's pretty vintage.
With amplitude modulation and frequency modulation radio.
Here you can turn on the lights, different lights, turn them on and off. And this one is for the foot, in case you don't want to wake up your companion. If you turn off all the lights, a small light turns on here. And this here, look, can you adjust the light?
A Telec 286 phone. A little sign that says warm welcome. And then, if you look back here, a bunch of cables. This device has a lot of cables. And let's see what's on Korean television.
Subtitled in Russian, huh?
Subtitled for the customer. There are small armchairs with ashtrays, so you can smoke in the rooms. That's probably why they're there.
And then some spectacular views.
Right now it looks very dark, but just minutes ago you could see many illuminated areas. They've turned them off. I guess they don't keep them on all night, but you could see them, these new streets that we might have visited. There were several, maybe 3 or 4. The Juche Ideology Monument was there, and in the distance you could see the leaders' portraits.
Buses are still running, so I think there's construction and some noise.
A metallic atmosphere, moving rubble it seems, and in the distance several factories.
And this is the bathroom.
Well, on the television, there were 6 or 7 channels. Of those, a couple were Russian, 2 or 3 were Chinese.
And this is the bathroom with its hair dryer, towels, the disinfected toilet, just like the bathtub. And here you have the set of brushes, shampoos, soaps, one for each guest. Yanggakdo International Hotel, a simple, well-equipped bathroom. The room has everything. This is considered a 4-star hotel.
And if I can, later I'll show you what other services there are. There's a restaurant, casino, swimming pool, gym.
My companion's already asleep.
So I'm going to do the same.
See you tomorrow on a new day. Good night. Thank you very much.